Hello everyone, I'm back. Well, it's been a while. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I haven't been making these videos, but I feel like in order to talk about them, we need to go to Mike Wren's Excuse Corner. So basically, I just kept falling behind. I wouldn't see a movie right away. It would take me a good while to come up with any good ideas for a video. And by the time I finally got around to shooting it or working on it, it'd be weeks and weeks later after a movie came out. And I would just feel like it was irrelevant by that point. I was kind of like, okay, I'll skip this one. Hopefully I can do better in the next one. And it would just be that cycle over and over for months. And now here we are. It's been a long time. I haven't made anything. The one I felt the worst about missing was Last Jedi. Warren was kind enough to even come over to my house. We sat down, talked about it, shot a whole hour's worth of discussion. I don't know, that movie was so hard to talk about. It was so bad, and everyone felt that way. So I didn't feel like I had anything provocative or interesting to say about it. On top of it, the smoke alarm was going off over and over because it was out of battery. So I feel bad about putting all that footage to waste. I even shot a whole intro sequence similar to my Force Awakens intro, where I look very sad and distraught. I was going to shoot a whole sequence of me like being angry, rampage to the house, breaking stuff. I was even going to do a whole thing where I get a jug of milk, pour blue food coloring in, make a blue milk reference, and throw it off the balcony, have it explode. But then this happened.
Oh.
So, wow. I botched that one pretty good. Oh, there's milk on the lens. Yeah.
Are we trying it again?
No, I don't have milk on the milk. Apparently I pounded this on the counter so hard that it just popped and I just stood here and watched it spill over like a waterfall instead of just shoving it all into the... So I think from now on I'm going to try to just put videos out even if they're way too late, as if anyone is really on the edge of their seat waiting for the next one to come out. But for right now, I think I'm just going to do a quick 2018 recap, do like a lightning rounds with the movies I did actually see. Wow, are we still in here? Let's get this going. Wow, I barely got out to the movies this year. I'm looking at the list of movies from 2018, and like, I can see why I was so picky. Like, almost nothing out there was even like very appealing to me at all. Here we go. Ready Player One. Oh my god. I had such high hopes for this movie. One of the few movies I thought was actually gonna be super good. Like, where do I even start? It was such a middle of the road type of movie. I couldn't believe it. I mean, yeah, it was made really well, but the whole point of the movie was all of the pop culture references, all the movie references. But honestly, if you took them all out, the movie would have been like incredibly boring. Like, you know, they have their big battle scene at the end, and you know, randomly one person has like a Gears of War gun, which is cool, but it was like, okay, it didn't do anything, move anything forward. Iron Giant totally stole the show. I was excited about that, but it's very on the surface stuff. From what I understand, they didn't even like accurately explain to you what the what's it called?
This is the Oasis.
The Oasis, yeah. They made it look like just like someplace you play a game, but in the book, that's where the universe exists. That's where they do work. That's what they learn. That's like basically where they are for everything. And that really wasn't explained to me in the movie, at least to me. And then the references didn't. Who were they for? This movie was clearly for younger people. You know, like honestly, like early 20s, maybe even teens. But all the references for like movies from like the 80s, it's like, dude, they don't care. And people who could appreciate those references were way too old for a movie like this. They would hate it. So I was like the Shining sequence was awesome, but that has been relevant in decades. Who cares about that? I saw A Quiet Place. That was fine. I thought it was directed very well. I thought it was a very thin idea stretched over the course of a huge movie. Nothing wrong with it, but it was... And I hear they're making a second one. I feel like that's going to completely like miss the point of the first one. Oh, Rampage. You know I gotta talk about Rampage. I didn't talk about the trailer. Oh, disappointing. I was disappointed in Rampage. The humor was so juvenile. Like, I understand that The Rock used to do professional wrestling, but it was like, at best, WWE level of comedy. And I know this sounds contradicting, it just wasn't stupid enough. You know? It wasn't over the top and loud and crazy. Not schlocky enough. Does that make sense? Like, they had one scene that was awesome. The gorilla climbs the top of the building and grabs the lady, the villain, throws her up in the air. It's this huge, long, like, slow-mo sequence of her, like, falling to his mouth. That was great stuff. Great stuff. They should have done, like, a lot more stupid things like that. I like the movie thought it was bigger than it really was. Like, this is kind of like this wasn't like a mainstream blockbuster, even though it wanted to be. Well, if I want to talk about Rampage, I forgot. I actually saw Jumanji 2. I saw it on a airplane flight for free, so that's probably the most optimal time to watch that movie. It was exactly what I thought. It was just like juvenile humor, absolutely nothing like the first Jumanji, which you know, whatever. I know the whole movie was only called Jumanji for the name recognition, so you get the cash or whatever. I don't care. It could have been a fun, fine family movie. Kevin Hart said the word shit a couple times, so I'm sure families wouldn't appreciate that a whole lot. It was fun. The Rock was about as The Rock as possible. Jack Black stole the show. I liked his teenage girl impression. That was super fun.
That was so intense. I can't even with this place.
It was okay. It was just okay. Which all these movies are just okay. Yes, I got dragged to seeing I Feel Pretty. Oh my god. What can I say? It was a very standard chick flick.
Oh my god, did you see this? Yes.
And the whole point of the movie was missed. It tried to make up a point about, like, don't let your appearances determine, like, who you are. You know, don't let beauty, like, be a standard that you judge yourself by. And I guess she kind of gets that at the end. You know, the whole point is she gets hit in the head, and then all of a sudden when she sees herself in the mirror, she thinks she looks like this like gorgeous hot woman, and so she, like, lives her life differently because of it, because she didn't realize that happened. She gets hit in the head again, and now she sees what she really looks like, I guess, and her confidence is shot, and then she has, like, this epiphany where, like, yeah, like I said, like, it doesn't matter, right? But she works for, like, a makeup company, and she gives this huge inspiring speech about, like, you know, everything I just talked about, and then she concludes her speech by selling this, like, low-cost high-end makeup for girls or women or whatever, so they can feel good about themselves. It's like, you just told me about you just told me about not thinking on that spectrum, and now you're trying to sell me stuff for that purpose. Like, what was the point? Did you learn anything at all? Oh, Avengers: Infinity War, of course. Guys, I don't feel so good. Okay, that was a pretty easy trick. You already know, I'm not impressed by these MCU movies. I'm sorry, I'm just really not. I don't like these movies because they play it so safe with their angles and their writing. I just can never feel the stakes in these movies. I don't know. Obviously, the production value is amazing. It has all the money in the world. Each movie costs like $250 million. I was supposed to be blown away when Thanos snaps his fingers. But how can I? How can I? Okay, there's going to be an Infinity War 2 or whatever they're going to call it. Disney put way too much money into the characters to own the characters. A couple months later, after Infinity War comes out, Ant-Man comes out. Like, how can I care about anything that happens in the Ant-Man movie? How can I care about any of the stakes involved if I know that, like, within the movie's universe, within months, half the universe is going to cease to exist? Like, I don't know what the plot is for Ant-Man 2, but, like, the stakes can't be very high. And nothing can compare to what's going to happen in Infinity War, so who cares? And we already have another Spider-Man movie slated, so when I saw him fading away. I never actually felt his loss. I'm like, oh, okay, he'll be back, and we have another movie of his to look forward to, blah blah. So it's a product, it's a business, it's a franchise instead of a compelling story. Compare this to Logan. Logan died. Hugh Jackman retired the character, so it's actually like you actually felt what's going on in that movie. Compare that to Infinity War. I was having fun the whole time. So who cares? I just don't care. Alright, what else do we got here? Deadpool 2. See, this is why I don't like doing these reviews sometimes, man. I feel like... So I'm about to talk about how great Deadpool 2 was. Everyone thinks that. So what am I really going to say is going to be so interesting? Fine. Deadpool 2 was 10 times better than Avengers. It just was. It was, the laughs were better, the action was way more gripping, like it knows how to switch back and forth between fun and serious. Like the fight between Deadpool and Cable was intense and exciting. It was shot and directed in a provocative way that actually made you feel the action as opposed to Avengers. Name one shot in the Avengers movie that really made you feel the impact of any of the action at all. And in fact, just a little side note on that. At one point, Thanos punches Captain America pretty hard and right into the ground, and he's fine. He's a little knocked out, but he's fine. It's that should have crushed his skull. That should have blown him away. He's stronger than the Hulk. Are you telling me the Hulk can punch Captain America that hard and he's fine? Movies should be shot and directed the way Deadpool 2 was. What can I say? If you want to make a really good action movie, you want to make a superhero movie, shoot it the way you shot Deadpool 2. Who directed this? I would like to see David Leitch direct a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Or any MCU movie. Okay, Solo. Do we even have to talk about Solo? Complete garbage. The worst,
I'll see you next year.
I'm not even gonna knock Alden Ehrenreich. I'm not even gonna knock him for his performance because the character wasn't even written correctly. That was not Han Solo in that script. I don't know who that was. Actually, I know exactly who that was. Instead of writing Han Solo into the script, they accidentally wrote Chris Pine's Kirk into the script. Think about it. That was exactly his character. That's exactly who he was. See, the story was just all over the place. No one behaved or acted or changed differently throughout the movie based on what was going on. Woody Harrelson loses his love, Thandie Newton, and is basically fine about it. Han Solo finally reconnects with his girl, and she doesn't really care. He spent 5 years. Everything he did was to get back to finding her, and he finds her, and she's like, "Oh hey, whatever," and he's like, "Oh, ha, nothing, no behavioral change, no motivation change, nothing. No moments in the movie changed the course of anyone's actions or anything that happened. Everything just kind of happened, and there was 3 conclusions that didn't matter. Oh God, it was just a nothing movie. Why did it have to be young Solo? Why couldn't it have been just even 3 months before New Hope? We like Chewie, we like Han Solo. Let's just see them in one of their escapades, just being who they are. Lando was done weird. Yeah, half the time Donald Glover did a pretty good job, but the other half it just felt like he was doing an impression as opposed to being the character. You know, it was close. It was actually one of the stronger performances of the movie, but it still was just very jarring. And I was just so aware that it was Donald Glover. All I could see was Troy the whole time, so it was very distracting. Hey, okay, Incredibles 2. That was a good movie. I was actually really surprised how good this movie was. Pixar's been cranking out these movies like Cars for a while, and I haven't really been too impressed with that. This Incredibles was amazing. It really knew its audience. If you were to take the kids movie elements out of this, it actually told a pretty compelling story. I found myself really wanting to know what happens next, and the action sequences were shot well. I love the scene with Frozone trying to rescue the kids from the house when all the hypnotized superheroes come to kidnap them. And it was interesting how much of a 50s or whatever era throwback it had. See, I kind of dug way too deep into this trying to figure it out, but kids don't know what that aesthetic means. You know, they don't know what these old cars are. They don't understand the look at the old TVs and stuff. They just see what it is. So that was obviously for the adults or whatever. I don't know, I'm pushing 30, so theoretically I should have like, you know, 5-year-old kids. So 50s era aesthetics don't do anything for me. So it's like my parents' generation is supposed to be taking the grandkids to the movies. And I was happy with myself. I'm gonna go too far on this here. Check this out. So the whole time I was watching this movie, I kind of felt like this felt a lot like Venture Brothers, one of my favorite cartoons in the world. In one scene, Mr. Incredible's watching TV, and on TV is Johnny Quest. Johnny Quest is what Venture Brothers is basically a parody of. So I was right, you know? I really feel like that was like a little bit of a wink to the audience, like, hey, we're kind of inspired by this type of, this show, so we're gonna kind of throw it in there, and so I was right. What I'm trying to say is Mike Grinner was right.
Yay!
So I don't know, that's about it, man. I did see The Purge, but I kind of want to do its own video for that. Oh yeah, and about the whole Crocodile Dundee thing, yep, they got me. It was just a commercial. It was just a commercial for traveling to Australia. I was gonna like watch those commercials and talk about them, and I decided who cares, whatever. They got me. I mean, is a fake movie trailer really supposed to get people to travel to Australia more? I don't know. So cool. We're caught up. We're all caught up. Nothing looked good. Nothing really got me excited. And I'm looking at movies that are going to come out. God, so many whatevers. I'm really looking forward to Venom. I'm looking forward to this Halloween movie. And Predator. I forgot to mention Predator. Ugh. I don't know. I'm sure something will surprise me. We'll see what the big blockbusters for the winter are going to be. Yeah, I'm back, guys.